Have you ever woken up stiff and achy, wondering if this is just what getting older feels like? Maybe your joints ache more than they used to, or inflammation makes simple tasks harder, and you quietly accept it as part of aging. But what if that's not the whole story? What if inflammation isn't just normal, and there's a natural way to calm it down? Many of us overlook how much inflammation silently steals our comfort and independence. In today's video, I'm going to share a simple turmeric recipe that helped me reduce inflammation in just 4 days, and it could do the same for you. Stick around, because by the end, you'll discover a gentle, natural approach that could change how you feel every day. If you are not subscribed, subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. Have you ever noticed how, as the years roll by, your body seems to complain more than it used to? Maybe it's a familiar ache in your knees every morning when you get out of bed, or that dull, throbbing pain in your fingers after an afternoon of gardening or knitting. Perhaps it's the stubborn swelling around your joints that makes slipping on shoes or opening a jar feel like a test of patience and endurance. It happens so gradually that it's easy to overlook at first. Maybe you chalk it up to just getting old, the way we're told these aches and pains are simply the price of having lived a long, full life. I know what it's like. I used to accept those little signals from my body as part of the deal, too. I'd look around at friends my age, at church, at the grocery store, in the park, and see the same careful movements, the same tired eyes. We joke about how getting old isn't for the faint of heart. That pain becomes your constant companion as the years add up. It almost feels like a secret club, doesn't it? Everyone nods in silent agreement. Yes, this is what growing old feels like. Sometimes, the conversation ends there. We shrug, take our daily pain pills, and push through. But as those days turn into months, and the months become years, that normal pain can start to chip away at your joy. It's not just about the body. It seeps into your spirit. Maybe you skip a family outing because you know it means hours of discomfort. Maybe you pass on holding your grandchild because your hands feel swollen and weak. Maybe you find yourself saying no more than you used to, not because you want to, but because you feel like you have to. It's easy to believe that this is simply the natural course of things. After all, every doctor's waiting room is full of seniors talking about their arthritis, their joint pain, their stiff backs. The world seems to tell us, this is your new normal. You just have to live with it. And so, we accept. We tell ourselves it's not so bad, or that everyone our age is dealing with the same thing. It's just another chapter in the book of life, right? But what if I told you that this isn't the whole story? What if pain and inflammation don't have to be the chorus that plays in the background of your golden years? What if, just for a moment, you let yourself wonder if there's another way? Have you ever asked yourself, do I have to put up with this forever? Is there anything out there, something gentle and safe, that could help me feel better? Let's pause and challenge what we've all been taught. We've spent decades hearing that arthritis and inflammation are simply part of aging, as inevitable as gray hair or reading glasses. But is that true? Is it possible that inflammation isn't just the universe's way of reminding us we're getting older? That maybe, just maybe, it's not something we must silently endure? Here's the surprising truth. Inflammation is not simply a symptom of aging. It's the body's response to many different things, from injury and overuse to diet, stress, and even lack of movement. Yes, it's more common as we get older, but that doesn't mean it's an unchangeable fact of life. Modern science is showing us that there are real, practical steps we can take to reduce inflammation, even later in life. But first, let's talk about what inflammation is, because sometimes even the word itself feels like a mystery. When you stub your toe or twist your ankle, your body sends extra blood and immune cells to the area to help it heal. That's acute inflammation, a short-term, helpful process. But sometimes, the body gets stuck in on mode. The immune system keeps sending out those signals, even when there's no real injury. That's chronic inflammation, and it can cause pain, swelling, and stiffness in your joints and tissues. It's like having a small fire burning inside you all the time. What makes it trickier is that chronic inflammation can be sneaky. It might start small, a little stiffness here, a bit of swelling there. But over time, it wears down your joints, your energy, and even your mood. Left unchecked, it can contribute to more serious health issues, like heart disease, diabetes, and memory loss. That's why it matters. It's not just joint pain. It's a whole body issue that affects how you live every single day. Now, here's where things get interesting. For decades, the main answer has been medication. Over-the-counter pain relievers, anti-inflammatory drugs, prescription medications. Sometimes these help, and sometimes they come with their own set of problems. Stomach upset, fatigue, or even more serious side effects if taken long-term. For some, medication is necessary. But what if there's another layer, a way to help your body fight inflammation naturally, right in your kitchen? That's the question I began to ask myself after years of simply accepting my fate. I remember one afternoon in early spring, sitting by my kitchen window, rubbing my aching hands and feeling a wave of frustration. I tried all sorts of creams, pills, and even hot packs, but nothing seemed to truly make a difference. I thought about my grandkids visiting next month and worried that I wouldn't be able to keep up with them. That was the moment I decided I wouldn't settle. There had to be something else. So, I started digging. I read articles, watched health segments on TV, and talked to friends who had found small ways to feel better. One name kept popping up over and over: turmeric. I'd heard of it before. It's a golden spice, common in Indian cooking, and often mentioned in health circles. But could something as simple as a kitchen spice help with inflammation? The science says yes. Turmeric contains a compound called curcumin, which has powerful anti-inflammatory properties. Researchers have studied curcumin for years and found that it can help block the molecules that cause inflammation in the body. What's more, unlike some medications, turmeric doesn't come with a long list of side effects for most people. It's gentle, natural, and has been used in traditional medicine for centuries. But how can something you sprinkle on food make a difference in your joints? Here's the fascinating part. Curcumin works by targeting multiple pathways in the body's inflammatory response. Think of it like turning down the volume on a radio that's been blaring static in the background. Over time, that background noise, the swelling, the stiffness, the pain, starts to fade. It's not an overnight miracle cure, but for many, it's the missing piece they've been looking for. If you're thinking, well, I've tried everything, why would turmeric be any different? I get it. I was skeptical, too. But what's beautiful about this approach is that it's not just about the turmeric itself, it's about giving your body a gentle nudge, helping it do what it's naturally designed to do: heal. Let me share the story of Margaret, a friend I met at our local community center. Margaret is 79, a retired schoolteacher with a heart of gold and a stubborn streak that rivals anyone I know. For years, Margaret struggled with inflammation in her knees and hands. She'd always been active, gardening, volunteering, leading the library's book club. But slowly, her world started to shrink. The pain made it hard to get out of bed some mornings, and she found herself sitting on the sidelines, watching life pass her by. One day, after a gentle yoga class, she confided in me about her frustration. "I feel like I'm trapped in someone else's body," she said, eyes brimming with tears. "I want to do things, but my body keeps saying no." I shared with her what I'd learned about turmeric, and together we researched how to incorporate it safely into our daily routines. We settled on a simple recipe: turmeric mixed with warm milk, a pinch of black pepper, which helps the body absorb curcumin, and a drop of honey for sweetness. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment one below to let me know that you are still here with me. Margaret started taking her turmeric drink every night before bed. Within a week, she called me, voice bubbling with excitement. "I can't believe it," she said. "My hands feel less swollen, and I slept through the night for the first time in months." Over the next few weeks, Margaret's energy came back. She was back in her garden, pulling weeds and planting flowers. She started walking with her friends again, smiling wider than I'd seen in years. Now, I'm not saying turmeric is a cure-all or that it works instantly for everyone. But seeing Margaret's transformation reminded me that sometimes, small changes can make a world of difference. And it starts with questioning what we've always believed to be true. So, how do you start? If you're curious about adding turmeric to your daily routine, here's a simple and gentle recipe that many seniors have found helpful. Golden Turmeric Milk Recipe. 1 cup of milk, dairy or unsweetened almond/soy for those who are lactose intolerant. 1/2 teaspoon turmeric powder. A pinch of ground black pepper. This is important. It increases curcumin absorption by up to 2000%. 1 teaspoon honey, optional, for sweetness. 1/4 teaspoon ground ginger, optional, for extra anti-inflammatory benefits. Warm the milk in a small saucepan. Whisk in the turmeric, black pepper, and ginger until fully combined. Remove from heat and add honey if desired. Sip slowly, ideally in the evening before bed. You don't need fancy supplements or expensive products. Just a few simple ingredients you can find in any grocery store. And remember, consistency matters. Try it every night for a week and pay attention to how you feel. Sometimes, the changes are subtle at first. Maybe your hands don't feel as stiff in the morning, or you find it a bit easier to stand up after sitting. It's also important to talk with your doctor, especially if you're taking medications or have health concerns. Turmeric is generally safe, but it can interact with certain drugs or medical conditions. Your healthcare provider can help you decide if this approach is right for you. What matters most is that you don't have to settle for a life ruled by inflammation and pain. Growing older doesn't mean surrendering to discomfort. It means finding new ways to thrive. If you've ever found yourself whispering, "I wish I could just feel better," know that you're not alone. There's a whole community of us, quietly looking for gentle, natural ways to support our bodies as we age. Maybe, like Margaret, you'll discover that the path to relief isn't as far off as you thought. Maybe it starts with a warm cup of turmeric milk, a hopeful heart, and a willingness to question what you've always been told. So, if you're tired of being told, "That's just how it is," I invite you to try something different. Permit yourself to hope, to experiment, to find comfort in unexpected places. Life after 65 is still your life. Full of possibility, full of joy, and full of moments worth savoring. Don't let inflammation steal another precious day. You deserve to wake up feeling good, to say yes to outings, to hug your grandchildren without wincing, to dance a little in the kitchen if the mood strikes. The first step is simply believing it's possible, and sometimes that's the bravest thing we can do. If you've ever found relief from an unexpected source, I'd love to hear your story in the comments below. Maybe your experience will inspire someone else to take that first hopeful step. And if you're trying turmeric for the first time, let us know how it goes. We're all in this together, learning, growing, and supporting one another as we age. Because aging, after all, is just another word for living. And remember, it's never too late to try something new. The best chapters of your life can still be ahead. So here's to brighter mornings, easier movement, and the simple power of believing that things can get better. One gentle, golden cup at a time. If you're like many people in their 70s or 80s, you might find yourself quietly wondering, why do my joints hurt so much more now than they did 10, 20, or 30 years ago? It can feel like your body has slowly turned against you. The stiffness, the swelling, the way a simple task like opening a jar or getting up from your favorite chair suddenly seems so much harder than before. These experiences are not just frustrating. but sometimes even frightening. You may have heard the word inflammation tossed around in doctors' offices, magazine articles, or TV health segments. But what does it mean? And why does it matter so much, especially as we get older? Let's start with the basics. Imagine, for a moment, you're out gardening on a sunny afternoon. You accidentally scrape your arm on a rose bush. Within minutes, that spot turns red, feels warm, and maybe even swells a little. This is your body's natural, protective response: inflammation. It's your immune system rushing to the scene to fix the problem, sending extra blood and white blood cells to heal the injury and prevent infection. In this sense, inflammation is a good thing. It's your body's built-in way of keeping you safe. But here's where things get complicated. When you're young, your body is quick to start the healing process and quick to turn it off when the job is done. As you age, though, this system doesn't always work as smoothly. Sometimes, the immune response gets stuck in the on position. Even when there's no real injury to fix, the body keeps sending those signals: extra blood flow, immune cells, chemical messengers called cytokines, to places that don't need them. This is called chronic inflammation. Instead of being helpful, it starts to cause problems: aching joints, constant swelling, and a sense of heaviness that lingers day after day. Chronic inflammation is sneaky. Unlike the dramatic swelling of a fresh scrape, it can build up quietly over time. Maybe you notice your knees are a little more puffy in the mornings, or your fingers seem stiffer after holding a book for too long. It's easy to brush off at first. Just getting older, we tell ourselves. But over the months and years, that low-level inflammation can actually damage your joints, wear away at your cartilage, and even affect other parts of your body. Your heart, your brain, your blood vessels. It's not just about pain. It's about the quality of your life and your independence. So why does this happen more often as we age? The answer is simple, yet profound. Our bodies have been through a lot. Decades of walking, lifting, stretching, and, yes, even the occasional stumble and fall. Our immune systems, while still strong, don't always communicate as clearly as they once did. And as our hormones change and our cells age, the balance between healing and harm can shift just enough to make a difference. It's not just about wear and tear. Modern research shows that the foods we eat, the stress we carry, and even how much we move can either calm or fuel the flames of inflammation inside us. This is good news, because it means we're not powerless. We have choices, even in our 70s, 80s, and beyond. For many years, the main way to tackle inflammation was to rely on medications: non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, NSAIDs, prescription pills, and sometimes even injections. These can help, but they're not always the best long-term answer, especially for older adults. Pills can upset your stomach, raise your blood pressure, or interact with other medications. Many of us are looking for something gentler, something that supports healing without adding new worries to our list. This is where the golden spice comes in: turmeric. Turmeric might seem like just a humble yellow powder you see in the spice aisle, but it's been treasured in traditional medicine for centuries. If you've ever eaten curry or admired the deep orange tint in certain soups or teas, you've probably tasted turmeric without even realizing it. But the real magic isn't in the color or the flavor. It's in a compound called curcumin. Curcumin is the active ingredient in turmeric, and it's been the subject of hundreds of scientific studies over the past few decades. What makes curcumin special? It has the remarkable ability to dial down the inflammation response at a cellular level. In simple terms, it tells your body's immune system, "Hey, it's okay, you can calm down now." It blocks the molecules and enzymes that keep inflammation going, especially the ones that make your joints sore and swollen. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. But what does this mean in everyday life? Let's say you drink a cup of turmeric tea or add a pinch to your oatmeal each morning. Over time, curcumin starts to build up in your system. You might notice that you're less stiff in the mornings. Maybe the swelling in your knuckles goes down, or you can go for a walk without feeling like you're dragging your legs through mud. These changes might seem small at first, but for someone who's lived with chronic pain, they can feel like winning the lottery. Now, you might wonder, isn't this just another health fad? It's a fair question. The good news is, the benefits of turmeric and curcumin aren't just wishful thinking, they're backed by real science. Researchers have found that curcumin can reduce levels of specific inflammation markers in the blood. It's been studied in people with arthritis, and many reported significant improvement in pain and joint function after adding curcumin to their routines. Some studies even suggest that curcumin works as well as some anti-inflammatory drugs, without the nasty side effects. Of course, turmeric isn't a miracle cure. If you have severe arthritis or advanced joint disease, it's not going to rebuild your cartilage overnight. But for many seniors, it can be an important part of a holistic approach, something to add alongside gentle exercise, healthy eating, and whatever treatments your doctor recommends. Another reason turmeric is such a great fit for older adults? It's incredibly safe. Unlike many medications, turmeric rarely causes side effects, especially when taken in culinary amounts, as opposed to huge, concentrated supplements. Most people can enjoy turmeric in food or drinks without any problems. It's also easy to find and affordable. A small jar can last you weeks, and it doesn't require a trip to a specialty store, just your neighborhood supermarket. There's also a little trick that helps your body absorb curcumin more efficiently: black pepper. It sounds simple, but studies show that a compound in black pepper called piperine can increase curcumin absorption by up to 2,000%. So, when you mix turmeric into a recipe, just add a pinch of black pepper to make sure your body gets the most benefit. Let's bring all this science back down to earth, to your daily routine. Imagine you're stirring a warm, golden mug of turmeric milk before bed, or sprinkling a dash of turmeric over your roasted vegetables. It doesn't feel like medicine. It feels like a little act of self-care, a gentle ritual that connects you with centuries of wisdom and with millions of people around the world who use turmeric to support their well-being. You don't have to be a scientist to understand the benefits. Just notice how your body feels over time. Do you wake up a little easier? Does it take less effort to get out of your chair? Are you able to play with your grandkids, walk around the block, or just enjoy a good night's sleep? These are the signs that inflammation is easing its grip. The bottom line is this: inflammation might be common as we age, but it doesn't have to rule our lives. There are safe, gentle options out there, and turmeric, nature's anti-inflammatory hero, can play a starring role. It's about taking control of your health, one small step at a time, and choosing foods and habits that support your body's natural healing abilities. So next time you look at that little jar of yellow powder in your spice rack, remember, inside is the wisdom of generations, the promise of modern science, and maybe, just maybe, the key to waking up tomorrow with a little less pain and a little more hope. You deserve to feel your best at every age. And sometimes, the simplest solutions are right in front of us, waiting to turn an ordinary day into something just a little bit brighter. For so many of us, the journey through later life is marked by resilience, by the quiet determination to keep going, even when the body complains and old remedies seem to fall short. If you're anything like me, you may have found yourself searching, time and again, for something that would ease the persistent ache in your joints, that constant reminder of years well lived but hard on the body. The search for relief can sometimes feel endless, and as the options dwindle, it's all too easy to lose hope. I know this road well. I tried it all: the over-the-counter pills that promised much but left me with a sour stomach, the prescribed creams that soothed for a while but never lasted, even expensive supplements that emptied my wallet faster than they eased my pain. Each time I visited my doctor, I'd bring a new list of questions, hoping for an answer, but always leaving with another prescription and another caution about side effects. It wasn't just the pain, it was the way it narrowed my world. I'd stand at the window and watch my grandchildren playing outside, wishing I could join in, but knowing even a gentle walk through the park could leave my knees swollen and throbbing for days. There's a loneliness to chronic pain, a kind of invisible wall that keeps you at arm's length from the life you love. But I refused to surrender. Somewhere inside, I still believed that a better day might be possible. That's when I stumbled across something unexpected. Something as old as time and as close as the spice rack in my kitchen: turmeric. You may know turmeric as that bright yellow powder, tucked away next to the cinnamon and the oregano. It's been used for centuries in cooking and traditional medicine, especially across Asia. But the more I read, the more I was drawn to the science behind this humble spice. Specifically, to curcumin, its powerful anti-inflammatory compound. The best part? The recipe I found required only the simplest ingredients, most of which I already had at home. There were no fancy supplements, no rare herbs, and nothing complicated. Just turmeric powder, the star of the show. Coconut oil. Healthy fat helps your body absorb the curcumin. Black pepper. Just a pinch, but crucial. Research shows it boosts the absorption of curcumin by thousands of %. Honey. For a touch of sweetness and a soothing finish. Warm water or milk. Your choice. I use almond milk for a gentle taste. The preparation is as easy as can be. In the evenings, I set a small saucepan on the stove and pour in a cup of almond milk. I add half a teaspoon of turmeric powder, a quarter teaspoon of coconut oil, and a pinch of black pepper. I warm it gently, stirring until it's steaming but not boiling. Off the heat, I swirl in a teaspoon of honey. I sit by the window, cup in hand, feeling the gentle warmth drift through my fingers, and savor the golden, earthy taste. The first night, I felt simply comforted by the ritual, a moment of peace after a long day. But I didn't expect much. After all, so many other remedies had disappointed me. Still, I was determined to try, so I made my golden milk every night for the next 4 days. It was on the morning of the 5th day that I realized something had shifted. I swung my legs out of bed, bracing myself for the usual stiff, grinding ache in my knees, and it wasn't there. I could stand up without holding onto the bed frame. I walked to the kitchen with ease, surprised by the absence of pain in my ankles and hips. As the morning went on, I noticed the swelling in my fingers had gone down. I could grip the coffee pot and pour without that sharp, biting discomfort I'd grown used to. At first, I thought it was a fluke. Maybe it was the weather, or maybe I'd slept in a better position. But the days passed, and the improvement continued. I started to move with more confidence, tackling a little gardening, bending to pick up stray toys in the living room, and even saying yes when my daughter invited me for a walk in the park. For the first time in years, I could hug my grandkids, scoop them up in my arms, and stroll under the big oak trees without dreading what I might feel later. The simple freedom of movement was nothing short of a miracle to me. There is a kind of relief that runs deeper than words, a mix of gratitude and awe when you realize you've regained a piece of yourself you thought was gone forever. I felt lighter, not just in my joints, but in my heart. I found myself laughing more, sleeping better, and looking forward to each day with new energy. It's not just about being pain-free, it's about reclaiming your life, bit by bit, moment by moment. What struck me most was how simple it all was. No complicated regimens, no harsh chemicals, no side effects that made me trade one discomfort for another. Just a few natural ingredients, easily found at any grocery store, blended into a warm drink I could make in 5 minutes. I'm not alone in this experience. Since sharing my story, I've heard from friends and neighbors who tried the same recipe and found their quiet relief. People who'd long given up hope of feeling better, now able to join in family outings, work in the garden, or simply get a good night's rest. Of course, everyone's body is different, and turmeric is not a magic cure. If you have serious health conditions or take certain medications, it's wise to talk to your doctor first. But for many of us, it's a gentle, natural way to support the body's healing. So, if you're feeling trapped by your pain, If you've tried everything and nothing seems to last, I invite you to give this recipe a chance. You have nothing to lose and perhaps a world of comfort to gain. Imagine yourself moving freely again, saying yes to life, and making new memories with the people you love. My kitchen is no longer just a place for cooking. It's become a small sanctuary of hope and healing. Each time I stir my golden milk, I'm reminded that the answers we seek aren't always far away. Sometimes, they're waiting quietly on the shelf, ready to help us find our way back to ourselves. And if you, too, find relief in this gentle remedy, I hope you'll share your story. Someone else might be waiting for the encouragement you can give. Life after 65 should be about more than just managing pain. It should be about embracing each day, savoring every moment, and believing, even now, in the possibility of something better. Once you've decided to give turmeric a try, you might be wondering, how do I fit this into my daily routine? Is there a right or wrong way to use it? And how can I be sure I'm doing it safely? If you're anything like me, you probably prefer simple, sensible advice over complicated regimens. Let me share what I learned, both from my own experience and from talking with other folks who found relief with this golden remedy. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. First, let's talk about timing. I found that the very best time to enjoy my cup of turmeric milk was in the evening, about an hour before bed. Something is soothing about winding down with a warm drink as the day ends, especially when it's filled with ingredients that are gentle on your body. For many people, taking turmeric at night seems to help calm inflammation that's built up during the day, and it can also help settle your mind for a better night's sleep. Of course, you can have it in the morning or afternoon if you prefer. A golden latte instead of coffee, perhaps. The key is making it a peaceful ritual, not a chore. When it comes to dosage, more isn't always better. You don't need to heap in spoonfuls or buy expensive supplements. Most research and traditional wisdom suggest that half a teaspoon of turmeric powder per day is plenty for most people. That's just enough to deliver the anti-inflammatory benefits without overwhelming your system. Remember, it's not about a quick fix. It's about gentle, consistent support. If you're adding turmeric to foods throughout the day, a little in your eggs, some in soup, and a cup of golden milk at night, just keep an eye on the total. The goal is to enjoy the benefits, not overdo it. There are a few other important tips to make the most of this remedy. Always add a pinch of black pepper. This simple step makes a world of difference, helping your body absorb the curcumin in turmeric so you truly get the full benefit. Pair it with healthy fat. That's why coconut oil, or olive oil, if you prefer, is included in the recipe. Curcumin is fat-soluble, which means it absorbs better when taken with a bit of oil. Be patient and consistent. The most dramatic changes might not happen overnight. For some, the improvement comes in a few days. For others, it may take a few weeks. The important thing is to make it a gentle part of your routine. I set a reminder on my phone at first, just so I wouldn't forget. Over time, it became something I looked forward to. My small act of self-care. Listen to your body. Everyone is unique. If you ever notice any discomfort or an upset stomach, it's perfectly fine to use a bit less turmeric, or even skip a day. Start small, see how you feel, and adjust as needed. But as with all things, a little common sense goes a long way. If you're taking prescription medications or have chronic health conditions like diabetes, kidney disease, or gallbladder issues, talk to your doctor before starting any new remedy, including turmeric. While it's considered very safe for most people, it can interact with certain medicines, like blood thinners. So it's best to check in with your healthcare provider, especially if you're managing multiple conditions. Turmeric works best as part of a healthy lifestyle, not as a replacement for other good habits. That means eating a varied, colorful diet. Try to include plenty of vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, and healthy fats. These foods naturally fight inflammation and support healing in your body. Staying well hydrated. Drink plenty of water throughout the day. It helps your body flush out toxins and supports all your organs, including your joints. Moving your body gently. Simple activities like walking, stretching, or even light yoga can do wonders. Movement keeps your joints flexible and helps your blood carry those healing nutrients where they're needed most. Resting when needed. Honor your body's signals. Some days, you might need more rest, and that's okay. Healing is a journey, not a race. Finally, remember this: patience is your best friend. In a world full of quick fixes and miracle promises, real healing, especially for chronic issues like inflammation, takes time. Give yourself a few weeks of steady, gentle care before deciding whether it's making a difference for you. And celebrate every small improvement. A little less stiffness in the morning, a slightly easier walk, a night with better sleep. These are victories worth savoring. If you ever feel discouraged, know you're not alone. Many of us have spent years searching for answers, and sometimes the most effective solutions are the ones that take root slowly and quietly. Stick with it, trust your body, and reach out to your community. Whether it's friends, family, or even folks in the comments of this video, for support. You deserve comfort, hope, and joy in every chapter of your life. With a little mindfulness, a sprinkle of golden spice, and the wisdom to listen to your own body, you just might find yourself waking up to brighter days. As we come to the end of this journey together, I want you to remember something very important. Feeling better is possible, no matter your age. Inflammation and pain may have felt like unchangeable parts of life for too long, but they don't have to be your story. With simple, natural steps, like adding turmeric into your routine, you can support your body's healing and regain comfort and freedom. I know firsthand how it feels to wake up lighter, to move easier, and to say yes to moments you thought you'd missed forever. Whether it's playing with your grandchildren, taking a peaceful walk in the park, or simply enjoying a good night's sleep, these small victories are worth celebrating. You deserve to experience life fully and joyfully, every single day. Remember, the path to wellness isn't about quick fixes or miracles. It's about gentle consistency, patience, and kindness toward yourself. A cup of golden turmeric milk at night can be more than just a drink. It can be a daily ritual of hope and healing. If this video has inspired you, I encourage you to take that first step today. Try the turmeric recipe, listen to your body, and permit yourself to feel better. And if you've found your natural remedies or stories of overcoming pain, please share them in the comments below. Your experience could light the way for someone else. Thank you for spending this time with me. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay connected for more simple, effective ways to thrive in your golden years. Here's to your health, your happiness, and many brighter, pain-free days ahead.